One of the most entertaining follows on Twitter, and they've got a great podcast, and they're on YouTube, is the Sickos Committee, who kind of started, I guess they're the inverse of most Twitter follows when it comes to, a lot of the things you follow on college football are always pushing the biggest things. Sickos Committee, obscure, bad games, all of those things. That's what they like to do. And Jordan Edmondson of the Sickos Committee joins us now. Jordan, I've wanted to talk to you guys, you and the commish, for so long, because I really do love what you do. You crack me up on a daily basis. Now you handle the, like, you're the social media, like, graphics and all that. So this is the meeting of the minds between you two is quite entertaining. How did this come about for you guys?
This was a pandemic project, like most things. And combined with a midlife crisis, I am going to hit 40 this year. Kamish is a little older than me. And during the pandemic, we were all fans of the Shutdown Fullcast podcast.
Yeah.
And they started a Discord during the pandemic, which Discord, listeners, if you don't know, it's like a chat thing, good old chat room. And we started talking about, a ton of different stuff. And we realized that we all had this love for more obscure college football, the stuff that not everyone else was watching. This sort of came to a head when we were watching, this must have been 2021. We were watching UTEP and New Mexico State play on a local El Paso TV station at 9:30 at night, and realizing how much fun that was. And we just started tweeting about it and making jokes, and here we are now.
You guys have caught the attention of many major figures in college football. Like, people send you, like, I'm amazed at the amount of stuff that people send you of yes. Like Sickos Committee material. It probably makes your job easy and hard at the same time is, oh, this is really good, but now I have to turn this around. What was the point that you kind of noticed, like, oh, hey, we're kind of in this community now. People are noticing us.
We really got to that point when the folks that we enjoy following, Brandon Marcello, Nicole Arbach, those college football folks, started asking us questions or sending us things or asking what we thought about stuff. And we realized that we'd become part of the conversation sort of unintentionally. We're not journalists. We're just a bunch of college football fans from all over. And that sort of got us in the door. And now we're going to games, getting press passes, and almost look like a real organization. We have people keep emailing us asking to be our interns. We don't even pay ourselves yet. Let's everyone calm down before we start putting interns in. I've been in the broadcast game for almost 20 years now, but and it's like, and you ride the wave. Did you guys, when you started doing the podcast, Discord and all of that, did you have a plan, or was, like you said, it was just kind of boredom and all that? Yeah, no, we're building this thing as we're flying it, basically.
Yeah.
There was no plan to begin with. It started out as a Twitter account and some jokes for about 20 of us. And then we just kept talking, kept posting more, started the podcast, and all of a sudden things just kept blowing up.
So how many people are actually on the official Sickos Committee?
So that is a great question. Let's see how we can say. On the podcast, there are 4 of us, me, Kamish, Pit Girl, and Beth, that run it every week. We have guests on there. Behind the main account on Twitter, we probably have another 5 or 6 people to help us post. Behind that, in the Discord, we have our Patreons that are in there as well, but also folks that are just carries over from the old Discord. And that can be number from 50 to 150 plus.
Oh, wow. So, like, the committee is growing. You are. So you say, you're getting press passes, you're going to games now. How do you intentionally seek out the games that fit the Sickos Committee model? Like, what are your criteria?
So our first statement is that all football is good football. That's our leading motto. And so going to any football is better than going to no football is always where I'm at. But the way I pick things out and the way we tend to think about this is there a compelling story that no one else is talking about? What is the weird thing here? We have folks who are big Kent State fans, and Kent State Akron it's a blood feud rivalry game, one of the best rivalry games for the wagon wheel. And so we had folks at that one because that was so interesting. And that's a MAC game on a Thursday night, or I forget what, Tuesday, maybe Wednesday, but no one else was talking about it. Both those teams weren't great this year, but when they won that, when Akron won that game, it was huge. So that's the kind of stuff we're looking for.
Yeah. So yeah, it is. I've always been fascinated by going to different places I've never been to before. And like, by any means, it was not obscure, but, we've covered Baylor for a long time. So when we got the chance last year to go to UCF for that first UCF game, look, I grew up in Florida. I'd not been to a UCF game since they built their new stadium. I went, when I was a kid at the Citrus Bowl. I had no idea what it had become. And, you have all these bucket list things, like everybody wants to go to the big house, and believe me, one day I will. I'll do all those things, but also I really respect your mission and all that, because there are a lot of cool places that people don't know about that game day is super fun, and they're not all LSU and A&M and Ohio State.
One of our good friends, Jay Arnold, former Texas A&M football player, Jay, on his Sin JOA last year, we pushed real hard to get him to South Dakota School of Mines, because South Dakota School of Mines has a drive-up tailgating. Basically, half the stadium is parking lot. So there's not stands on the opposite side. It's just tiers for cars. And so you can sit there and lay on your horn all game. That's amazing. That's something that I would kill to do. And that's something we want to show, because that's a game day experience like absolutely no other.
Yeah, no, again, super unique. So do you guys have you planned out the games that do you do that now, look at the schedule and go, okay, here is where the Sickos Committee is targeting this year?
Starting to do that a little bit. A lot of it right now is also just where we can get our people, because we all have day jobs at this point. So we're still trying to figure that out. I just bought my tickets to go watch the Brawl this year, the Backyard Brawl in Pittsburgh. On our podcast, Pit Girl and Beth, they're both Pitt and West Virginia fans. So I said I was going to go to my first Brawl this year and go deal with that. I'm in North Texas, which is great for me because I get to just be within driving distance of everything. So I went to North Texas's opener against Cal, which was an absolutely fun game and really got me on the Cal bandwagon last year when I wasn't expecting it. We ended up watching Cal at the Independence Bowl last year too. Drove to Shreveport and watched them to finish it as well.
Yeah. Do you guys, and obviously like things like the Pop-Tarts Bowl, identify with you guys so well. Have bowls reached out to you guys about doing some stuff?
Yeah. We are in tight with a lot of the bowl folks. They love chatting with us. The Mayo Bowl is one of our favorites because they understand the weirdness. A lot of the bowls nowadays, I'll give them big credit. The bowl social media folks and the bowl marketing folks, not in the top tier, but like that next set down, they get it. They know that they want to bring eyes to their game, and we're happy to bring eyes to their games because it's football. I love football. I want to watch more of it. And so when you can get compelling teams, a fun gimmick, something to like really sink us in, the Pop-Tarts Bowl was the best about that. There was a storyline. It was emotional. It was tragic at the end. It was a bit Greek where he only had one eye left. The birds had consumed it. It was great.
Yeah, well, you know what was funny to me about that is the goal of a Pop-Tart is to get eaten. It is very, you said Greek is the best way. Like it is absolutely, I'm a soldier. My goal is to die. Like that kind of old, Trojan War type thing this is my goal is to die in glorious service. And that to me, was just so brilliant about it. I do think other ones, the Independence Bowl has a very long history, but they're kind of flagging to me. Like they need to all come up with gimmicks. Again, this could be, I'm pitching this idea to you. If you guys cut me in on the back end, fine.
There you go.
If you guys started the Sickos Committee consulting, like bowl consulting firm, how to make your bowl interesting, I think you do very well.
I think so too. I know we've done this long enough at this point that we sort of know what draws people to bowls. It can be really anything. This is why it's a tough draw to be, okay, the Raytheon or the Lockheed Martin. Okay, I'm not going to go out and buy a a jet fighter, but man, Pop-Tarts, I can buy Pop-Tarts. This is what I want. This is my bowl thing. So I can go eat Pop-Tarts.
Yeah. What, who are some of the personalities that kind of inspired you guys on this, like around sports, like that kind of drew you into kind of like, we can kind of do that. They're your spirit animal, so to speak.
A lot of this is going to be towards Spencer Hall and all the EDSBS folks,
Yeah.
Ryan Nanny, Jason Kirk, Holly Anderson. They're the ones that we listened to for a long time. They helped us find our voice, and we definitely see ourselves as, I believe Holly once referred to us as the dumb children. So more than happy to take that from you.
What are your thoughts like about the current state of college football and college athletics, especially given that you guys believe no football is bad football, but the power conferences absolutely believe that there is some bad football and they don't want a part of it. So you guys are some of the few champions for the rest of the folks who are getting squeezed out by the big boys right now.
I think that we're lucky because we don't have to always pay attention to the top stuff. We can just choose to ignore it sometimes, which is very relaxing. I have not said 5 words about Colorado football in the last 6 months, and I've been very fine with that. It's emotionally great for me because I don't have to deal with that. I can talk about all the other stuff. And I think that's how we sort of approach it. You know, I like the sport because of the egalitarian nature, that the idea that, yes, there are 134 now, 5 maybe, FBS teams. Theoretically, they all have a chance. We know that's not the case. But they're all there on the same level. And that's the beauty of it. So if we're going to split off again, this whole idea of we're going to take the top whatever bit, whoever, and then pull the ladder up, of course, because no one else can come chase us. I think that goes against the spirit of the sport, of the last 150 years of the sport. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, you're in North Texas. I'm in Waco. I think, look, I know we just met, and this might be let's do a game together somewhere. I think a good one, Tarleton State now just in Division I in Stephenville. We can go to Jake and Dorothy's, get a chicken fried steak, barbecue after the game. I think 365 and Sickos Committee need a collab. I think we need a collab.
Either down there or Sam Houston State. I've been really dying to get down there. I'm an ex-band director. That was my old job.
Okay.
So I'm very much a band nerd. And the Sam Houston Band has invited me to come down and play at some point. So I'm going to get my instrument out and go down there and play with them.
All right. Well, Jordan, thank you so much for hopping on the show. Always love reading your stuff on Twitter. I've listened to the podcast and all of that. You guys do a great job. And thank you for, look, we have a lot of people, we have 46,000 people subscribed. We have a lot of viewers, a lot of listeners, and a lot of them are champions of these schools who do not get, who are not the big boys, and thank you for being a part of that, because there's really good college football out there, and it doesn't just live in Columbus and Gainesville and in Los Angeles and Seattle. It's a lot of places. So keep fighting the good fight, and let's talk again soon. I would love to get every single one of you guys on the show and even come up to an event if you're close enough to us. It would be great.
Sounds great. Thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah. Jordan Edmondson of the Sickos Committee joins us here on 365 Sports.